Evening, folks. Welcome to the Leeds View podcast, the first of our weekly 2 podcasts. We do daily Leeds news on audio and on video, as well as 2 podcasts a week and some match reviews, as well as the odd tactical breakdown when the need strikes. You can check us out on all audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we are part of the Sports Social Podcasting Network. If you like the video and this is your kind of thing, give us a follow, give us a channel rating, and give us a like. That would be fantastic. We've got the lads in tonight to chat about what has been an interesting weekend of football around Leeds United and looking ahead to the game of the weekend. And we'll probably squeeze in a little bit of Jurgen Strand-Larsen conversations at some point because, we're getting close to deadline day, only a few days away from it now. So we'll see how it goes. We'll check in with the boys first. Jerry's going to get his own segment to talk about the Hill Dickinson Stadium because that needs to be talked about. But Paul, how are you first? How's your week been?
Set it all on fire just now. Just set it all on fire. Had enough. Sack Fark, set it all on fire. The players are rubbish. No, I'm joking. I jest.
I know.
I understand people getting tetchy and people getting nervous about stuff. We have said consistently that it is going to get squeaky bummish. It is going to get a little bit. We all would have taken a point at the start of the game. I understand people's frustrations and everything and annoyances with the game, and that's absolutely valid and that's absolutely fine. But I was relatively calm after the game. I was more annoyed at the reverting to type, I think is probably the fair assessment. I think that he was hampered slightly because of the injuries that we have. So not having a Gabby Goodmanson, not having a Biol meant making the changes that he probably wanted to make. I think he said as well in the interview afterwards that he wanted to go 4-3-3. But I think with the fact that we didn't have the usual people that we would normally have in that to be able to do that, it wasn't really an option. Substitutions were too late though. I think we can say that quite easily. They were too late. Aronson, as good as he has been, was on his backside by the time that one would come out. I mean, he was just prime Pirlo, almost. Yeah, he was unbelievable in the first half, and but for the width of it, I think if Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores that, I don't think Everton get back into the game. You have to give Moyes credit because his adaptation at halftime did make a massive difference. He overloaded the midfield and we didn't cope with it. We didn't change or we didn't make any changes to go with it. I thought Tanaka was poor when he came on. I wasn't over enamored with Tanaka. I had a bit of an argument with somebody online about that, which is fine. We can disagree. He needs to stop the cross. End of story. He needs to be busting a gut to stop that cross. That's just where it needs to. That's just where it needs to be. I thought Gruev was okay, but the problem is that Stack and Gruev, the two most combative midfielders, Stack getting the man of the match on the sofa score ratings and stuff and things like that. It was very, very difficult for them because they both got yellows, so it was very difficult for them to properly get into the game. And if you're going to bring on an Okafor, a Boanorte to come onto the pitch to do something, you've got to give them more than 10 minutes. I mean, they showed when they came on, you could see the difference almost instantaneously, but had a little bit longer. But it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I do think if the substitutions were made at about 60 minutes or so, I don't think Everton get the equaliser. For all of the possession, we were never really, really troubled by them. We just weren't. So look, it is what it is. We haven't lost the way. That's the important thing for me. That's more important than anything else. We haven't lost the way. We've got another point. Yes, the people behind us have also got points as well. West Ham are having a bit of a renaissance, shall we say? But what they have to do. I think they have to get minimum 20 points from the remaining games that they've got. And that's 14 games left to go, 15 games left to go. Out of the however many games that we've played so far, they've only just got 20 points. So it's a tall order for them. I believe, is it Crystal Palace in terms of the betting odds are now at a worse percentage than us to go down, which is just
Palace on 28 points. They're only 2 points ahead of us, and Palace played Forest at the weekend. So
Which,
I mean, we will get into all those permutations as we go through tonight. But you're right. I saw a very interesting point by a person made. There just seems to be this expectation that Daniel Farke and Leeds United need to be perfect in every single game. And I think, again, if you look at Leeds squad, talk about trying to establish us as a Premier League side. We've had that bad run, and we criticised Daniel Farke during that run, and I will defend all of the criticism that we gave during that run because during that run it was valid. But he's lost 1 game in 10 in the Premier League as a newly promoted side, and we've also now bypassed the points total of all the sides that got relegated last season. So there are things that are going in the right way. We still probably need 15 points, and if you look at the games that are there, yes, there's a difficult run of games coming up for us, but in that run of games, we've got Sunderland at home, we've got Crystal Palace away, we've got Nottingham Forest at home. They become big games on their own, and then you look at the last few weeks, and you've got Burnley at home, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home. So there are opportunities for Leeds to get 3 points that would be enough to keep us in the division. I don't think it's as, to your point, Paul, as black and white as it's us, West Ham or Forest, because I very much think Spurs are absolutely in the mix now. And I think Crystal Palace are absolutely in the mix. Your manager's leaving at the end of the season. You've already seen the reaction that gets, and they've sold Mark Gahey. They've tried to inquire apparently about Charlie Creswell today as well, and that's been turned down to do so on sell the summer at the earliest. So they need to fill positions as well. They could be losing Mateta, fingers crossed, after we sign a player, if we do get to that point. But again, they're not exactly in perfect position. We talked last week about it as well, Gerry. We said we're probably the calmer side around the place right now. And even dropping, in inverted commas, 2 points away from home to Everton, it's incredible to think that we're disappointed with that. We've taken 4 points off Everton this season in total. Yes, first half was fantastic by Leeds. Second half was poor. We sat on an 18-yard line. Nobody wants to see us do that. And there was a reversion to type. But it's still a point on the road, and that shouldn't be lost, I don't think, in the grand scheme of things. But firstly, how are you? And secondly, what did you think of the game?
Fine margins. I think the point everybody's missing, that we dropped points to a team with a guy wearing long johns. That really... I don't know.
Full pants.
It looked like somebody out of the Wild West who would wear long. But that aside, it's fine margins at the moment. You know, if we brought on attacking options against Fulham and scored a late winner, and we brought on attacking options this game, and we could have got a winner. You never know. On the basis of the first half, I said at halftime, I'll really be disappointed if we don't win this. And at the end of the game, I thought I'm pretty happy with a point, because it was a game of 2 halves. You can be nitpicky. As you say, they've got plenty in the bank at the moment. One defeat in 10. I think that's one of the best records in the Premier League. I know there's a lot of draws in there, but we've you know the way we played the first half, we were on the front foot. The passing was good. Scored the goal. I think I couldn't quite see it, and haven't seen the highlights back yet. Pickford made a great save, didn't he, before 2-0? And the fans were, other than a spell at the start of the game where they had a couple of corners, they were nowhere. And you could hear the fans being frustrated and getting on their back. I think when they brought on the stately home, Dewsbury Hall, I think that made... you can see that on Braithwaite, that made a difference. But we just sat back 2 times and we couldn't string those passes together. And I remember looking at the clock, 68 minutes, thinking, we ain't going to hold out here. And it was to be. And the cross should have been stopped, as you say, by Tanaka. I don't think you can blame the keeper. I think Barna was unlucky. It was a good finish. And then they hit the crossbar, and Darlow pulls off a great save. And you think, okay, I was happy with a point. And we had chances going for. I think we late on a poor pass. Was it Tanaka? Poor pass into the box when we played well. But I thought the game was crying out for Okafor just to come on and run at them. I thought Brendan, he was brilliant at times, but I've seen the old Brendan pop up now and again. There's a couple of times you thought, wrong decision, Brendan. You ran into trouble there. But again, he's got enough in the bank, and is good player with everything else. I love Barnow. I think I just love his story from total anonymous. Nobody thought he existed, and I thought he played really well at the centre of the defence last night. I thought he won a lot of stuff. Joe Rodon made one mistake, but again, there was a couple of tackles, him and Ampadu, where they put the ball into, well, not Rosette, but right, it was bang. And that's the sort of challenge. I thought Ampadu was excellent. Calvert-Lewin, he had a rough enough game, but he was still getting those little touches in. Stack, again, for setting up the goal. And James Justin, what a bargain. You know, recruitment got criticism, but we've done all right in recruitment. But as you said, these Buonanotte and Oxford, they needed more time. I think Buonanotte got an elbow in the gob, and it was played on. I think that the referee. I'm not sure if the referee was good or bad. I think there was a lot of stuff we let go.
I've seen mixed responses on this. I thought he was poor. Square ball lads thought he was probably all right.
Yeah,
there were moments in the game where I thought like Brendan Aronson was cleaned out of it on a half turn and no free kick was given.
And he let stuff go.
Wins the ball and gets cleaned out of it, no free kick either. We were calling yellow card. Yeah, it was odd.
And there was one, I think Everton were on the break and he called it back. He'd already blown for the free kick and there was a drop ball. I can't remember why, but that aside, generally a point. The stress all weekend has been the other results. And we knew that was going to happen. We knew we're probably going to lose 6 or 7 more games, which we've not started to do. And in the aggregate, West Ham have gained 2 points over us, and we've matched Forest in the last 2 games. And it keeps ticking over. 3 wins, 5 draws, and there's going to be some defeats we can afford. The pressure's still on them. Pressure's on the teams above us. Fark, yes, tactically maybe didn't get it right. We sat back too much, but as I say, fine margins. And it's, as we were talking earlier, it ain't time to sack Daniel Farke. It ain't time to have to sign 10 players. We look good. Everybody who I talk to say, you look like a mid-table team. You don't look like a team in trouble. We as Leeds fans, we know the stress and everything, and we're still involved in it. But I'm genuinely happy with the team. We've got a couple of injuries. But our wing backs, Justin, he's not as marauding maybe as Goodmanson, but he's good enough, and he scored 2 in 3 games, and from that's decent. And we got him for 10 million. That is good bit of business. I think Longstaff had a chance later on. He should have got his foot over that. And a couple of half chances, but it wasn't. Both keepers made great saves, and I suppose a draw at the end if it was good. But I'll talk about the ground as well if you want. If you want to,
let's talk about the Hill and their fans, Gerry. What were they like?
Yeah, I think they're a bit displaced at the moment. Nobody knows where they're. I suppose if you say to everyone where the cop is, but you know what I mean. Where's the south stand? They're all over the place, and they don't know where their focal point is. And the atmosphere until they got the goal. You didn't hear a word, but as far as the ground going in, it's like walls around it, and you go in and narrow, and you go through an airport type security. The sniffer dogs and all sorts. But it's impressive going up to it. Yeah, really impressive. Luckily, the tide was out because I know it's built on the river. Tight exit coming out, I thought, but for all the money they've spent, the toilets are crap. There was queues; they're too small, and I think talking to a couple of Everton fans, it's not dissimilar around the ground. So that's poor. And why is it clubs can't have a decent PA system? Where all clubs are guilty of that. But the view we had, the general surroundings, it was impressive, and overall good. So Jerry's cracks. Yeah. I think I'm quite positive on this one. But my car was still in one piece when I came out, which was good. There was a lot of broken glass around where I was, but it was safe enough. Yeah, and I was among a crowd, so it wasn't too bad. And I got away in about 30 minutes. So for all the talk about not much parking around, it wasn't bad. I got a decent parking space for about £6. So we were genuinely comfortable, plenty of space, good view. Great design. It doesn't feel like one of these crisp bowls that are around. It's got a unique setting, and it'll just take them a couple of years to find where their vocal fans are. And I think when I heard people talking about this today, when we expand at Leeds, we make sure that that's one of the main things, because I think new stadiums always lose that. I think was it you to mention that today, Jeremy?
I said on the news today. Leeds could learn from this, and if they were smart.
That was it. Yeah.
Season ticket holders that are in the cup, make sure they get the exact same seats.
Yep.
Don't move them. Leave them where.
So you
get that right, you're okay.
They've said I speak to I've done a podcast with an Everton fan a couple of times, and we had a little conversation about the ground, and he was saying that the problem that they've got with the ground at the moment, as good as it is, and it is, I think it's one of the better new stadiums out there. As good as it is, the issue that they've got is the season tickets that were allocated. People are kind of all over the place. So what would be kind of like the singing section is not the singing section. It's dotted all over the place, and the people have ended up with like season tickets for standing when really they want to sit. So I think there's going to be a lot of movement going around and stuff. But I mean, it's a stunning stadium. It's absolutely stunning when you see it. Yeah. Really, really nice.
Goodison Park used to be like looking through a post box, and it was old school, and it was nice.
Back at West Stand, Gerry.
Feel about the back of the West Stand's a bit like that. Chelsea's the same, although it's a newer stadium, I suppose. But it's very impressive. It is better than Arsenal, I think, and Tottenham. Yeah, Tottenham's good as well. But I was very impressed with 51,000. I think capacity's 53. There was a few empty seats, but Leeds fans, I'm sure they were as vocal as ever. And I seen somebody slagging them off today for saying it feels like a library or something. So you shouldn't be singing songs like that. It's championshipy. It's fun. Of course, your stadium's a library. That's what you say. Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we say.
Make it not like a library then. Get off your arse and sing. You know, get moving. It is. I've sat at the very back row in our West Stand. And it was the game we got promoted in last year. Oh, sorry, the game we won the league, and we were actually given the last home game of last season when the championship was announced. And Willie Nanto scored and that. And as he was running through on goal, you have that initial reaction to stand up, but then you stand up at the back of the West Stand, you realize really quickly you've got to go. We can't see anymore. You lose the pitch rapidly behind the stand. So
and there's a pillar where the midfielder hides, because I think we're through 1-on-1. Oh, there's a midfielder there. I'll miss that. I'll miss the pillar.
A little roar from one section of the West Stand. That'll be gone soon. But I genuinely think if Leeds are smart, it's a good PR exercise as well. And the 49ers like a bit of good PR is work with the season ticket holders in the Cup. Let them pick their seats within the Cup and only in the Cup, and keep those guys there, because that's the key to Leeds United's atmosphere. The South Stand will still be the South Stand. We know that. They can't only work with that at the moment because the road is behind them in the Peacock as well. So there's a whole conversation there what they can do with that. But that end is important. They keep it right. And they've talked an awful lot about keeping the intimidating atmosphere. It's an open goal for me. Is just to leave those lads. And if any of the season ticket holders have been contacted, if you're watching this or whatever, just let us know in the comments. It'd be interesting to see what the rhetoric on that one is.
Joking aside, it's built on literally is built on water, and it's
reclaimed land.
Impressive. Yeah, we went to the Titanic Hotel beforehand and had fish and chips, and I had to say it went down well. Yeah, it's the Titanic. It's an open goal, so please allow me that one. Yeah,
I thought you were going to say
somebody said about moving the deck chairs and moving the deck chairs tactically, but I thought I'm not having that. Yeah, so.
I like that.
Happy about that. West Ham and Forest, they're panicking. I spoke to a Forest fan today, and they said we've got a really good team, but Dyche is a dinosaur, and apparently wants to get rid of towels for throw-ins.
No, I don't think so. That's not.
That's going to make change.
Odd, isn't he? He's just. We were talking about this yesterday as well. Somebody said in the comment section, I bet Sean Dyche is the kind of real man who dries himself with his hands. You know, that kind of. It's like, would you just get over yourself for a few minutes? Like, I feel I'm dying to see if this Italian striker that's coming to them wears gloves or a scarf, or he's allowed to wear because Dyche would be like, you got not allowed to wear his gloves, can't be them. You know,
well, that guy that beat us to in the summer, he's left already, I think, on loan. And it just shows they're making inquiries about Dunk at Brighton today, which is interesting.
I mean, he's a very Dyche kind of player, though, isn't he? If you can't have Tarky, he may, sorry. If you can't have Tarky, he'll have Dunk instead. But interesting, Douglas Luiz, he sent them back, and now he's joining Villa. Who are top 3 in the Premier League right now. So.
Well, he said on his stream, didn't he, Louise? He was doing stream playing some video games or something, and I think he said on stream he really wants to go back to Villa and that he misses all of his friends at Villa and misses playing with them. So makes sense.
Although I miss going around Villa. I'm not looking forward to that trip in a few weeks. The ground's all right, but around about, Jesus, it's not the nicest part of the world to go to. But more updates on that.
I was going to say, Gerry's Gripes will be back next week at the same time. Thanks for being involved.
My favorite player is coming on Saturday.
Arsenal. Declan. Yeah. We have a whole. I'm surprised. We'll give you a section on Declan.
How did he not win the Traitors last week? I've never watched it. I'm sure he should have won it. Yeah, I'm sure he was on the Masked Singer as well. But yeah, I really despise that bloke. But anyway,
I know you.
All I need is for Thierry Henry to be on Sky, and that's a good double header for me to vent my anger. Yes.
Yeah, you did send me the picture of Jack Grealish being announced injured, and you're like, oh, that's a pity.
That's a shame. Hope it's nothing trivial. Yeah.
I did like and agree with what Hasselbank said after the game as well, and he summed it up.
Careful now.
I know this is uncharted territory for me because generally, he said that it's fine if you're going to sit deep, but if you're going to sit deep, you've got to pass the ball around each other a lot better than what we were doing. We were trying to get it forward to DCL quite a lot. And because we were sitting so deep in the second half, it just wasn't working. So we were rushing the passes. And it's one of the very, very rare few times that I agree with something that Mr. Hasselbank says.
It was obvious to see in the first half, we moved the ball incredibly well. And this is the thing about it's the Paul Heckenbottom with ball, without ball. When we had the ball, there were Leeds players off the ball who wanted it, who were running into space, who were creating angles for passes, who were, again, we talked about Tableau a couple of weeks ago, running out of the way to drag a player with him to create space for Aronson to run into. And they were doing that so well. And then in the second half, and to Aronson's point, Aronson had so much space to run into in the second half because of the movement of Stack beside him to create space for him, to give him that pocket, and DCL to get out of the way at times to give him the runs. And then the second half, when he was picking it up and when Leeds were trying to get out, Leeds just didn't seem to want to move off the 18-yard line. So when he did get it and turn to run forward, all of a sudden he was surrounded by 4 Everton players, and you're looking around and going, there's nobody with him. There's no one has gone with him. So his options to pass the ball were massively limited.
And that's why we did that well against Newcastle, didn't we? We did that well when we broke. And you're right. There was times going through and you thought, we're through here, but there's nobody up there with them. No.
And it was like people will say, like, we couldn't get out. And Daniel, I disagreed with Daniel Farke when he said we knew Everton were going to come at us in the second half. I felt we let them come at us a little bit in the second half because there were plenty of opportunities. And I always say it, when the keeper kicks it long, that's your opportunity to get out 5 yards. That's when you should be moving off. And every time it went out, it came straight back. And Calvert-Lewin had 3 centre halves around them and nobody to play off of them. And this was the point I wanted to ask as well, Gerry, with this. Not just the changes being late, because they were. Now, this is where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And I will give context to that. Daniel Farke makes 2 late changes against Fulham last week. Tanaka gets involved and the Mecha scores. So both of them are involved in that. Perfect substitutions. Well done. They've impacted the game. He waits a little bit too long for me in this one to the 80-minute. Aronson looked knackered. DCL looked knackered. Stack was getting leggy. He's only back from injury. I thought outside of changing the system, it could have been freshened up with like-for-like players. Mecha could have come on for DCL. When Nothing or Okafor could have come on for Aronson. You could have just freshened up the legs there a little bit. But he doesn't do that. But when they went 3 at the back, for me, this is when it screamed, now you go 2 up top. Now you put Mecha on with him. So if the ball does go up there, it has a better chance of staying up there for a bit longer rather than coming straight back at us and not allowing us to get out and get up the pitch and take a bit of pressure off. And that's something we did very well when the two of them do play up front together. Is that when it does go up there, you've got one running the channels, one flicking the ball on and one knocking it down, and they can alternate between them. I thought that was where he got it wrong last night. Not necessarily not changing to the 4-3-3 earlier, but not freshening it up, or maybe not even putting a second striker up front to counteract the 3 centre halves.
Yeah, and Mecha, he's chaotic and he disrupts when he comes on. We've seen he was the first few touches, as we know, against Fulham, but he kept going and he was causing problems, and that could have done it. But if Longstaff connects better with that, Tanaka's pass into the box is better, then it all works, and that's the fine margins, and that's what keeps managers in jobs and doesn't sometimes. So Farke, I think he'd probably know that he made them too late. It felt that I thought, I hope we're not going back to this where we throw everybody on at the last minute. We didn't see enough of, but not to. I haven't got it in my head.
You got it right. You got it right. Yeah.
But not, yeah. I said it too many times. The fourth Argentinian to play for Leeds, apparently. Yeah. Can you name the other three? Yeah, you might have seen this on Twitter today. There's obvious ones there. Yeah.
Whose names escape me right now straight away.
Yeah.
Well, there's obviously
Vecchio,
yeah.
Oh Christ!
Did you mind that sounds like a drink?
He was rubbish, this guy. We got him from Swansea, if you remember. He was a left back.
Oh, the fullback. Yeah. Begins with a B, doesn't it?
Yeah, Bassoni.
Federico.
Freddie Bassoni.
Freddie Bassoni.
Yeah. And, well, the other one it goes back to the 70s.
His name was
Sabella.
Yeah. Sabella.
Sabella. But apparently he's the first Argentinian to play in the Premier League for us. But as somebody did point out, Sabella played in the first division. So for me, he's the second. But anyway, that necessarily, I forget what I was talking about there. One thing I will say, if we ever do, when we do get the new ground, please don't do a light show and have the siren going off. Because if you've got problems with flashing lights, it wasn't the place to be. It's I've been so many light shows at grounds. Don't do it. Just don't. Please, Leeds, never do that. Never have tifos, whatever they call them, flags, I used to call them. Don't do that. Don't have banners made up to give to the fans. Don't.
And they've complained today. Have you seen that? There's been a complaint put out by Everton that some of the Everton fans took the flags home with them because they weren't their flags. Everton made them and left them in those seats. It's very MLS-y. MLS do that with flags already waiting and they stay there.
Said, "Go Moyes, go." What Scouser would say that? You know, what football fan? Go, man, go, Daniel, go. And he never said
American. It's no offense to the American viewers, but I've been to an MLS game and I went to see Seattle Sounders versus Vancouver Whitecaps, and I sat in the singing section, which they handed me a card with the songs on it and the lyrics in the back of it, which that was a problem to start with. Yeah. And then I thought the flags will go away once kickoff happens. The flags never went away. You couldn't see the game because the flags were all in your way. And then when they left, the flags were left, and you're like, this feels very orchestrated and not organic. You let the atmosphere grow itself.
I'd love to see a song sheet of South Stand songs, wouldn't you? That'd be great. That'd be,
every second word redacted.
Redacted. No, they can't say that. It's
can't get that to the kids. No, you can't have that one. No,
but no flags and no flashing lights.
Don't manufacture an atmosphere. Same with people who bring drums to matches. Stop it. If your fans can't get an atmosphere going themselves, you've got bigger problems. But don't manufacture an atmosphere. Someone's currently screaming in the comments, about flags. But bring your own flag by all means. Bring your own flag.
Yeah. Norman, bite your legs.
Flags there for people. Yeah. Do it properly. Big flag poles and then moaning about they got taken home. Yeah. Well, most people would walk in and go, "Ooh, free flag." Great.
Yeah, I'm off. Other thing, what do people think? Because the lads who are with me hate that American Boy song. I'm nonplussed about it, but they really don't like it.
I don't mind it.
I think it's quite clever. And there was another song that Leeds fans had made on it. Marching On Together's mentioned it, and I thought, need to work on the beat on that one, lads. It doesn't really work. These are the sort of things we're talking about the football. Another thing we were doing last night was picking a joint Leeds Everton team, players who've played for Leeds and Everton that we know of. And we got about 6 or 7. Nigel Martin, Jack Harrison.
Gary Speed's the one that sticks in my head.
Yeah, Gary Speed. Imre Varadi.
Yeah.
That was front.
His name always comes up. Always pops up.
It does.
That's where the inflatable bananas came from. You know that, don't you? From Man City, because no one could pronounce his name, so they call him Imre Banana. This is true. And then someone thought, let's get one of those inflatable 5 bananas, and that's how the inflatables came. Hey, it's all education in this program.
Yeah, it's like when we had
Paul does the Dune. Paul do the tactics. I'll do the bananas. All right.
Yeah, it was like when we had Thea Garaga. We couldn't pronounce that name, so he became Dave. Like that was
Dave.
Dave.
Well played.
Yeah. Anyway. But that's
anyway. Sorry,
no, it's great.
Let it go.
Yeah, we've that's Everton. So look, we got a point. I know, and I to balance it all out, can totally understand people being frustrated that it's not 3. Get it? Completely understand it. I would rather 1 than none, and I would have taken a point before the game. The way it panned out, bit frustrating. But it is still a point on the board. It does still keep that 2/3 game gap between us and West Ham, and that might get down to 3 points at the weekend very easily. By the end of the weekend, could be 3 points between the two of us. But there are different games coming up. So plenty of opportunities, and then that Forest game with Leeds in a couple of weeks' time, and we've got Palace, so they're going to be big games, and we Spurs away then as well to come. So it can still get very interesting down there. Moving on, then let's talk about the Arsenal game before we talk a little bit about transfers. We've got Arsenal at home next, looking to revenge a 5-0 thumping that we managed to get at them against them for playing out from the back. 2 up top, please, Daniel, in this one, and just hump the ball down the park. Let's not even try and play out against them. They've had no wins in the last 3 games, though. 2 wins in their last 3 away games, though. And they have the best away form in the league currently. But Leeds' home form is pretty strong as well, Paul. 3 wins, 2 draws in the last 5 games. The wins were against Chelsea, Fulham and Palace. And the draws came against Man United and Liverpool. It's not exactly what you would call easy opposition to pick up points at home. So the home form is really strong. They're in a bit of a January Arsenal bottle period. Dublin Airport, by the way. Hats off to his lads. That social media account's fantastic. They tweeted a picture of 2 people filling up their bottles at the self-filling stations, and they said, great to see Dublin Airport, people in Dublin Airport doing an Arsenal in January with their bottles. That's standing work, lads. Well done. Keep it up. Yeah. So you've got that to deal with, and then the month is over. So let's get to them before I get to February. Realistic expectations for this game, Paul, because I think we're probably all looking at this going, probably going to lose this one.
Yeah.
But you never know.
This is one of the games that I would put down as a throwaway game. In all honesty, what I would like to see though
is a free hit in the Premier League, Paul.
That I know, and I know I'm going to get absolutely poked in the eyes for saying it, but this isn't winning or losing against Arsenal isn't going to determine whether or not we stay up in the Premier League. It's the games that follow after that. It's the Forest game that comes at home after that, which I am going to make sure that I'm there for that. I'm even going to see if I can sort out to get in with you boys so we can I'm
going with
I
this
know
man.
You're going, but I know you're going. Yeah, so I'm trying to see if I can arrange a ticket for
I'll ask around. Yeah, I'll ask around.
Oh, thank you. But I'll pay, obviously. I'm not, I'm not a freebie boy.
You always find one, you'll be fine.
I know, I don't know how I've done it this season. I've only missed 2 home games this season, and that's a first for me. But anyways, Arsenal-wise, I would absolutely 100% rip your hands off for a point now.
Oh, God, yeah.
If we could take a point from Arsenal, I would then be turning around and saying to you, that's the game that keeps us in the Premier League. That's how strongly I feel about that game. If we could get a point out of that game, it would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. The way that you've got to look at it, and look, I know Man U have got much better players than us on paper. Didn't look like it at the game, but Man U were in their faces quite a bit, and that's the way that you've got to play against Arsenal. And for me, they're coming to our house with our fans. We should be showing them no respect whatsoever at all. I want to see, like you said, I want to see two up to. Do you know what? I'd even go 4-4-2. I'd even go 4-4-2. Just old school, pump the ball. I mean, it won't happen. It'll be something like it'll be 3-5-2 more than likely. But we need Gruev in there. We're going to need Stack in there. We're going to need Ampadu in there. Who, by the way, just going just by sheer level of consistency. I know Biol was my pretty much shoe-in for Player of the Year so far, but on reflection and analysing, Ampadu is just different gravy at the moment. He's having
fantastic.
He's having the absolute purplest of purple patches at the moment. And I think he's going to be quite up for it. I also think as well, the fact that we lost 5-0, we've got a point to prove as well. And to show that we're slightly different. We're a much different team now than what we were when we went to Arsenal. So, look, if we lose, it's the manner in which you lose as well. Hopefully we're not going to get absolutely stuffed, but I want to see us fight and determine for it, because the Arsenal, they haven't got a Granit Xhaka in there anymore. Yes, they've got a Declan Rice, which everybody hates, but they haven't got somebody in there that's going to stick a foot in, and somebody that's going to really, like a Patrick Vieira type player. They have a fragile mentality, and we need to play on that. We absolutely need to play on that on the day. So it's a tough one. I don't expect us to get anything out of it, but I will absolutely rip your hands off for a draw. I will put nipple clamps on if we get a draw.
Yeah,
there's one. Squeeze it in. There you go. And the clamps.
Definitely squeezing something. Let me tell you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there's two. Gerry.
Well, when I put nipple clamps on, anytime really.
Just get the classes on and just do this.
Yeah.
Just do this.
Electric current. Anyway.
Sorry.
He started, not me.
That's it's out my system. It's out my system now. I know. Out my system. Fine.
Yeah. Gerry, a point to prove or a point to get in this game?
Oh God, yeah. It's as Paul says, we get out of this game. It's not a bad time to be playing Arsenal. I mean, they've been the best team this year. I mean, they're in Europe, they've been brilliant as well. But every team has a little dip, and to lose at home against Man United, which I actually enjoyed a bit, which I'm a bit ashamed to say, but I did enjoy that goal as well. And dropping a point at Forest. Well, they probably had plenty of chances, but little seeds of doubt in there. And if you're anybody that's going to play at Elland Road, if you're another fan, everybody think that's a tough game. And Arsenal, we think that's a tough game, you know. And we just got to get in their faces. We really do, and just play the way we've been playing. And we've played all the top teams. And since the Man City game, second half, we've looked well capable of beating any of them, and we've held a lot of them. And a draw, yes, all day. If we, as you say, if we lose, it's not the end of the world. And as long as we lose gracefully, that's fine. The 5-0 game and defeat on the team, it's light years away. That was just naivety, and you know, we thought we could play the same way, and we just met Arsenal on a bad day. So we're very much we can do this. And Ampadu, as you say, we were worried about him early in the season, and rightly so. And I have to say, we even forget to mention him, Gruev last night again. He's for a guy who everybody doubted, he's not up to the standard and that. Maybe not a starter. He's had to start a lot of games. Like Barna, he's come into the team and he's played really well, and he's one of my favorite players. He really is, Grave, because he just does it. But if you don't watch him, you don't see him. But easily we could get something out of this.
Tell you what, Gerry, you noticed him when he went off last night, and all of a sudden there was a few more balls that weren't happening. So
yeah, I was surprised. I thought they would have brought Stack off, especially the yellow card and that. But anyway, yeah,
31 of 35 accurate passes last night, so 90% again, which keeps his average.
People will say, yeah, but he passes it backwards. My argument to that would be he retains possession.
Yeah. What impressed me in the first half last night, going back to it, was just when we were in tight spaces, nobody was hoofing. There was intricate passing, one touch, and that was very impressive. And that's what we didn't do the second half. But if we played the way we did in the half, or we got that crispness of pass and you know, movement off the ball and everything else, we can give Arsenal a go. And you know, again, it's the overall picture. It's how many points we're still ahead of West Ham at the end of the weekend. If we're still 6 points ahead of them, that's not bad. If it's 3 points, then well, you know, it's going to get a bit nervy for us. But everybody's got tough fixtures, and be twos and fro's. We might get 3 more wins and 5 draws, but it won't all come consecutively, and we just got to hold our nerve. But I think we can. I've just got a sneaky feeling we're going to get a point on Saturday. I really do. And that will be so good. 3 o'clock kickoff, get a point against the league leaders.
Saturday.
When's the last time we played Arsenal on 3 o'clock on a Saturday?
It doesn't
at least it's better than the last time we played them when we had children out, if you remember that game. The only game that was on in the country that day because during the middle of COVID winter. But I remember the 0-0 draw we had.
McKinstry playing that game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
There was a load of young lads on the bench, and it was 4-1 we lost. But yeah, we owe Arsenal one definitely, and just one over little Declan. That'd be nice.
Well, that's always the sweeter one, isn't it? Just if Andrew crunches Declan Rice in the first. Oh, Dan Stack to do that job there. Yeah, well, Stack has another game under his belt by the time we get to that one as well. So sharpness is there. They've got till Saturday to recover. There's doesn't look like we're going to have Bial or Goodmunson for that game, but there's a possibility that both could be back for Nottingham Forest or just after the Nottingham Forest game, which would be disappointing. But they're still there. James Justin's been very, very good since he's come in from Gabby Goodmunson. And
could
again,
be after the cup game.
Barnell's been fine. You can argue he could have done better for the goal, but honestly, I think it's a terrific finish.
Clever finish. It's a clever finish for
it's point blank. By the way, because again, look, I got stick earlier on this year for defending Lucas Perry. So I'm going to defend Carl Darlow here.
I was going to say.
Got a bit of stick for the goal. I don't think he should have got any stick for it. And the Hinchcliffe tried to make out that he made a very savable save from Barry's shot. That I thought was a terrific save.
Yeah, it was.
And if you want to talk about distribution, Leeds goalkeeper Carl Darlow completed more accurate long passes, 11, than any other player involved, and made the most passes into the final third of any Leeds player yesterday with 13 and 11 and 13.
Doesn't help me blood pressure though, because the ball he waits very late to send it long. But yeah, we did notice that it was making the spot, and he looks confident. And I would blame for the goal. It was a great finish.
It was a very tidy finish, and it's point blank range for the goalkeeper. It's gone, and it's high as well. Keepers tend to try and make themselves as wide as they can, so it doesn't go beyond them. But that's always
so. In the near future, I think it's his shirt to lose now.
Oh, it's absolutely his to lose right now.
Yeah. So fair play.
Has his odd little moment in every game, as goalkeepers tend to have in matches. He's a keeper, that's the point. On Ethan Ampadu, by the way, he took the Brendan Aronson Award yesterday, covered the most amount of the ground on the pitch, 11.8 kilometers he got through yesterday as well. So
we had, I think, three players that what's the word, covered 11 plus kilometers yesterday. I think there was three of them that did.
And James Justin has taken the honorary Luke Ayling fall over and win a foul award. He's getting good at it.
I tell you what, I'm starting to rub my eyes and think, is it Stuart Dallas that I'm seeing running up and down the sideline?
He's a bit robust to be the floppy, but he's got his own technique, and it's starting to work. Very impressive.
He's a bit robust to be the floppy.
Yeah,
be the floppy, but there we go.
Hey,
you sent me some.
I did.
The adult tags on this now for Spotify.
Yes.
Paul, you sent me some stuff earlier on you wanted to have a little chat about, and I think it's really interesting to look at this. There's a couple of Premier League
statistics. I was worried there when you said
that. And everyone always says stats aren't always the thing you should look at, but these are just ones to have a little bit of a chat about. There's 5 key ones, 3 on the screen here and 2 more after this, and it's interceptions, chances create, aerial duels. The other 2 are clearances and goals scored. And Leeds have a player represented in every single one of them. Paul, I'll let you have a chat about this.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason that I sent them over is I saw it online. Somebody put them up, and I went to, obviously you go to the source and go and have a big look through and everything. This is Squawkers, like what they I think they call it like a 10 of 10. So there's 10 different sort of categories, if you like. And we've got Leeds representation in 5 of those 10 categories. And just as for us as a newly promoted side, it's really, really good news to see, and it's really encouraging. It shows that we are massively competing. So you look at it for interceptions wise, you've got Ethan Ampadu with 29 interceptions, sitting in 8 out of 10. In the chances created, you've got Stack sitting in 3rd with 43 chances created.
And he's missed games as well.
I know. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Longstaff is like 11th or 12th, because Longstaff went through a mad period of creating a bucket load of chances. And then in aerial duels 1, this is the one that surprised me. Aerial duels 1, coming in at number 10, Pascal Strauch.
Yeah.
It's number 10 in the league for aerial duels 1 overall. I just think this is me looking at stats and looking at things to try and make myself feel a little bit more comfortable about everything. So you've got clearances on there as well. Pascal Strauch is in it twice. Yeah. There's a conversation to be had about how good Pascal Strauch has been, quietly going on about his business.
Mention him. We haven't mentioned him.
Very good,
he's
lady.
Brilliant.
Very, very
quietly going on about his business. He's very, very good at bringing the ball forward. He's very, very good at finding a pass. I like what I see.
He was going to score last night. I thought he was going to try and smack one from distance last night. He kept getting forward.
I'd love him to. I'd love him just to absolutely just
put your laces through.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, 133 clearances so far this season, and then the goal scored side of things coming in live. The only English player in the top 5, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, sitting in there at number 4 with 9. And these are the things that end up being difference makers, the things that end up being reasons why we stay up. You look at it at both Nemecha and Calvert-Lewin, free transfers. They've got 14 goals between them. It'd be ace if that partnership, if you want to call it that, could get to 20 by the end of the season. So 6 goals between them, that would be phenomenal. But then you look at the other little instances, little bits of statistics that are going on and in there. You look at, we mentioned it with Gruev with his 90% passing accuracy. Last night's Struijk was at like 90% passing accuracy. It's it's the little things that we're just starting to do that build up and build up and build up and build up and build up, and then they allow you to go, yeah, do you know what? I think we're actually better than what we think we are in some cases. And it's not us getting ahead of ourselves or getting too big for your boots. It's looking at, like I said, for me, I spend my time looking at stats and going through bits and pieces because it makes me feel a little bit better about how I'm feeling. And you look at like
patterns though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Thank you. You've just helped me out there. I was going the round way about saying that. It's the patterns that are created from that make you feel a little bit more comfortable. And it's that, like, looking at like West Ham, the West Ham fans are going, yeah, look, it's going to be different. They don't see Leeds going down because of the way that we play. They comment on what we're doing, and other teams are commenting on what we're doing, but we have that PTSD as Leeds fans. We all sit and go, no, the world's on fire.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Look at what we've been through. It's just like we all sit there going, the world's on fire. But it was really interesting to see, particularly those Squawker stats, and then just where certain players sit within them. And like for me, the unexpected one was Strout being in there twice.
Yeah,
which you just think, right, okay.
And what were those stats? If you took those stats from the Man City game, I think would be a lot higher players, and there'd be a couple more in there. Interesting to talk about,
Gerry, when you look at the fact that we went on a run of 7 games with 6 losses in there as well. Like if those losses don't happen, if we change the system earlier in the season, then maybe they're even better again.
Yeah, we'd be up there with Sunderland. Interesting. I think it was on the Square Ball I heard this, but Pascal did an interview with a Dutch magazine or whatever, and he said he'd already done the deal to leave Leeds in the summer, and I think Fark blocked it because he thought he needed. Thank goodness. But he's again a guy he's had issues, and his pacing gets turned easily, but he's been great the last few games, and you don't even think about him not being in the team now. Just watch him. He wins headers, and he can play that pass, as you say. Again, done well, and those stats because he's in very decent players in that lot there. So no, not to be.
He's still just 26 years of age as well, so he's still got his best years ahead of him. So I mean, he's been very good. There's every single player has one or two little areas that you would like to improve. For me, sometimes he likes to wander after players and creates a little bit of space in behind them. But that's playing with 3 at the back. That's not even noticed anymore because you've got that sweeping player in there. So it suits him down to the ground. You're seeing his best football. You're seeing him probably in his best position. I mean, and Yacobil got criticism in it too, that he just wasn't good enough in it too. You stick him in a 3, all of a sudden he's much better player. Pascal looks like exactly the same in the 3. He looks like a very, very capable and very decent level centre back in the Premier League, probably a top half Premier League centre back. You look at how he carries the ball out, you look at his passing accuracy, and if he doesn't have to worry about getting turned in behind, let him play football. Let him go. Needs to start directing the headers towards goal a bit better because he's a big lad, and he does win a lot of headers and he doesn't get them on target. So I mean, Daniel Farke talked about his greatest achievement in his career being Joe Rodon early in the season. Could do with him and Pascal chipping in with a couple of corners now.
50p head job, a
bit of that, but but he's in the right places and likely to score a goal. But same as you, Paul, I wouldn't be against seeing him put his laces through a ball and smash
overall,
him. Just in the interest. Go on.
We got an identity. I think that's where we look at the moment. We got a system, we got identity, and people, and that, I think with West Ham and Forest and what have you, they've struggled with tactics and players and everything else, and that's probably why they're struggling down there. But just keep it going.
Exactly that.
And if you want me to just to throw in a little absolute rumour mill bit of nonsense, apparently Fiorentina are allegedly looking at Biol.
Don't know. Stop it.
Where do you want to go there?
That story's been floating around for about a week. I haven't covered it once because they couldn't afford to pay Jack Harrison $3.5 million. They're not going to buy Yacobil. Leave her about 25 now.
I know. I like bringing it up because it's really funny because I see you get as red in the face as what I am. It's just hilarious to do. I like winding it up.
Does it make any sense? And you're like, they can't afford him.
I
know.
It
doesn't.
I think a clever bit of business we could do from Italy. I'm not being biased now, but Evan Ferguson he's on loan at Roma from Brighton, and apparently he's coming back, and there'll be a few clubs looking for him. If we're looking for a striker on loan, that Strand Larson with a bit of skill, I think it wouldn't be the worst bit of business if we got him in on loan, but it won't happen. But maybe we should.
No, it won't. He's struggled for a couple of years for me. But he hasn't. Very good for Ireland, but he hasn't set the world on fire with football clubs. I mean, the early promise that he was going to bring hasn't shown up yet.
I want him. I want him in.
Yeah.
We haven't got an, when's the last time we had an Irish player in the team?
There you go.
Irish podcasters coming out of our ears. We haven't got an Irish player. I can't remember. There's another question. I'll have to think about that one.
There's actually none in the under-21s either at the moment. Then we have King home and he's gone to Buxton. So, yeah. Just in the interest of time, we've only got like a minute or two left. Just to ask the lads real quick. We won't spend a huge amount of time on the transfer stuff. We'll talk about it on Thursday. Adonis Store is joining us on Thursday as the guest for the podcast on Thursday. But just to have a quick chat, the Jørgen Strand Larsen rumor is still floating around. There's lots of comments about it saying Crystal Palace will make a move if they sell Jean-Philippe Mateta. That hasn't happened yet. No offers have been accepted for him. Leeds are in the mix. Paul, briefly, your thoughts on if we'll even get this one done?
It's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. Look at that. That's perfect sitting on the fence journalism, that, isn't it? It's not that I'm a journalist. We've talked about it and we've mentioned it now as well. For me, it's the structure of the deal. They'll want a whack of money up front, probably something like 10 to 15 million, something like that, as a down payment for him.
We likely don't have.
Yeah, which we likely don't have. But the one thing that I will say, just to try and keep everybody interested in it, is that we were going to find 38 million for Pai Zhao. We were going to spend 10 million on Harry Wilson at the end of the summer transfer window. So I would say that they're probably in and around in the background, structuring, trying to come up with the best structure for it. We know that his agent wants it. We know that he wants it. It's just down to, I say wants it. He's open to the idea, not to, so that everybody doesn't go, well, you said this. They're very open to the idea in the project.
I'm open to the idea of winning the Euro Millions, Paul.
Yeah, no, I am as well.
As long as they've got a plan B, if the Strand Larsen doesn't go through, that we're not scratching around on Monday, as I keep saying before, with a plane sitting on various bits of tarmac, scratching around. At least if there's somebody else, because there'll be a lot of business done the next few days. It'll be domino effect. You know, Mateta goes somewhere, Strand Larsen goes somewhere, and loads of other movement around. So I just hope we've got something else lined up if that doesn't happen, because we probably, you know, Lemaitre and Calvert-Lewin, if they both got injured, we're struggling. So you need to be able to rotate. I looked at our bench last time, players coming off top. This is decent, but 3 or 4 injuries, and you know you're struggling in dangerous positions. So we got to make sure that's covered. I'd like to see striker come in and maybe someone else unknown, and just because I like seeing new toys and new players,
we all do.
5 or 6. I hope we're active on transfer deadline day, because it gets boring when you're watching. You think you get to 6 o'clock and you think there's nothing happening here. It is Monday, isn't it?
I would much rather. I would much rather a notification come up either tonight or tomorrow going, Leeds have agreed a deal in principle to sign striker, and then we can just sit back and just go, let everybody else figure it out.
Yeah, everything's a bonus after that. That would be good.
Sneaky Rafinha one in January would be nice. No,
don't sell Matt Smith.
And don't sell everyone in the last day of the day. Yeah. We'll see. We go. Updates on deadline day. I possibly won't be around for deadline day, but I am working on a backup, so there is still a live stream on the channel for deadline day. I'll give you details on that over the next couple of days when it gets finalized. I might be somewhere else. But we'll give you the details on that. Back tomorrow morning.
11 o'clock on Monday, is it? 11 o'clock on Monday?
7 o'clock on Monday.
7 o'clock.
7
I'll have me tea then. I won't have me tea.
Oh, yeah, sorry, bed early. Yeah. Don't go to bed just yet unless you're in bed before 7:30. You know.
That's a great name for a podcast. Right.
It's a bit one, yeah. We'll wrap it up there. You can find this man, Paul Brooker, over on the Leeds Therapy, details down below. And this man here, Gerry Mac, on X at GerryMac123. And I'm back tomorrow morning for the news. And then, as I said, we have the bonus podcast out on Thursday. Adonis Storrs joining us as a guest to talk transfers and see what Leeds do coming into the weekend. And then the Arsenal game coming up. As usual, predictions will be out late in the week. I'll give you the links for that, as well as the Big Up stuff as well. We have Daniel Farkas' reaction over on bigup.com from the press conference this week. Right, folks, outside that, enjoy the rest of your evening and your day. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.